Okay, so I'm going to start by talking about iteration, and it's just four loops, like four loops, while loop and do while loop. And these things are just ways to run over set of data when you're trying to like do something repetitively. If is my audio nice? If is my audio nice, Victor? If it is nice, let me know. Can you hear me? Well, um, let me drop this also. Okay, so the concept of iteration is just when you're trying to like create repetition in your code. Let's say you're told to write a program that let's say sums a number from 1 to 20. What you could do is you could actually like add those numbers, store them in different variables um, from 1 to 20, which means you're going to have like 20 variables. But instead, you could have one variable and then iterate from 0 to um, 10 using a set of conditions, and then you'll be able to like get that instead of having to create multiple variables for yourself. So how this is being done is just basically um, you just basically have to create like a file. Let me open up a folder instead that we're going to use for this. So I'm going to have hypertext badge. Okay, so I'll just hit it on that file directly, and I'll just say iteration like this. Great. So I'm going to just open this up instead. Okay, so John Adibe, nice one. Victor, I have two viewers. Okay, not bad. So I can continue. I can continue. So I'm going to like zoom out this. I'll zoom out this so that this will be a lot more visible. The software of doing this is quite heavy on my PC. So I'm going to have like JavaScript file index.html and then a JavaScript file. This is really slowing down my PC quite a lot. So I'm going to have index.js. So with that, I'm going to just generate my default templates, HTML template here, and this is not giving me any suggestion. No suggestion at the moment. Okay, doesn't mean I have to type this out myself. Yeah, thank you. So I'll just come here and script source. I'll bring in index.js. Okay. In my JavaScript is where I'm going to write in like the code. So I will go with this. I'm going to try to write a program. So let me say, write a program that sums numbers from 0 or from 1 to 10. With this, one of the options we have here is to have like variables. So you can actually say let x1, for instance, is equal to 0 or 1, and you do the same thing for x2, which is equal to 2, for x3, which is equal to 3, which is equal to 3, and so on. So if you did it this way, it would actually work. But the thing is, with this, you would have to be creating so much variables, and it's not really a very nice option. You have to be creating so much variables, and it's not a very nice option. So what you could do is use for loop or while loop or do while loop to do this. Now these things are different types of loops. Depending on your use case, you might decide to use a particular type of loop. So let's actually go down here, and I'm going to start with for loop. I'm going to start with for loop. So for loop is, excuse me. So for loop is used for iteration, and I'm only going to treat for loop actually today. Then next time I'm going to discuss while loop. So the way the code syntax is here is just for like this, and you're going to specify the starting counter, which is like the counter that you use to set your conditions. So I could say let x equal to 0 like this, and a semicolon. Then you're going to specify a condition that will determine if the loop would run or if the loop wouldn't run. So you say x has to be less than or equal to 10, which means this loop will continue to run as far as this condition is true. Now, the next thing is just x plus plus, which is like incrementing the value of x. So with that, you could actually stay inside here now and iterate and sum the value between 0 to 10. So if you wanted, you could just say this should start from 1 instead, and depending on where you want to start from. So I'm going to say let answer, or I'll just name this sum, let sum equal to 0 like this. So with that, inside here, I'm actually going, per iteration, x will always keep changing. Once it hits x plus plus, they will always add 1 to x. So I'm going to just come here and say sum like this plus equal to, now wait, okay, if you add this, so x is going to be, at the first time x will be 1, at the second time x will be 2, at the third time x will be 3. So you keep adding it to the original initial value of x. So I'm actually going to just say something like x plus equal to, you add x to this line. So at the end of this iteration right now, x, the value of sum would be adding everything from 1 to 10. So if I did something like console.log, okay, so if I logged sum, you could see that sum would be the sum of this whole value from 1 to 10. So I'm going to just come here and open my HTML and open with live server. So I could serve it with live server. Uh, excuse me, this is opening a different screen. So if I open up my console at the moment, um, go to my console, you're going to see that it's 55. So let me check sum. The answer that the value stored inside sum is 55. If you zoom it out a little bit, it's that 55 is stored inside sum, which is the sum of the numbers from what 0 to 10. And that's how iteration basically works. This is just for loop. I'm still going to talk about do while loop and while loop later. But this is how iteration works. You first set where you're starting from. You set the condition that to determine if the loop would end or if it wouldn't end. Then you're going to now specify your increment value. So if you want to increment it anytime the loop runs, you increment. If you want to decrement anytime the loop runs, you decrement. You could actually use this, let's say if you're told to write a program to sum all the even numbers within a specific range of data, you could use iteration to iterate through it and get the perfect result for yourself. So that's just it for now. I will um, okay. So I any question right now? If you have any question, you can drop in the comments. Okay, so I guess none yet. Okay, so I'll end the stream. This is the first stream, so it's very short. I'm kind of trying to get a lot of things here, but I believe next one should be okay. John says he has a question. John, yeah, drop your question. John, okay. Um, okay, yeah. Apart from for loop, can we use while loop or if? Okay, while loop is also used. Yeah, you could use while loop for iterating. Um, it works with the same concept as for loop, but if is basically for conditional, so it's not really you're using if to take decisions. So if this doesn't happen, this should happen. But if you're talking of loops are basically used for iteration. You could have if statements, inside a for loop. Let's say, for instance, if you're told to like find the sum of all the even numbers within a range of numbers. Let's say, for instance, if I'm to write this program now and say um, find the sum the sum of all even numbers between um, okay 0 to 100, for instance. So you're looking at iterating from 0 to 100, right? You're looking at iterating from 0 to 100. So your loop is going to have a condition where it has to iterate till it reaches 100. Then inside the loop, you have to like only sum, you have to like only sum even numbers, right? And an even number is perfectly divided by 2 without any remainder. So like that's the very simple um, way to know an even number. So if I wrote this loop, I would say for loop. You could have if statement inside a for loop, but a for loop doesn't really serve as an if statement. Both of them different. Um, they are different code constructs, if I might say that. I would just say let x equal to, let's say we start from 1 because there's no need starting from 0 since we're finding some. And I'm going to say continue as far as x is less than or equal to 100. So once x becomes above 100, it wouldn't continue this loop. So I say, okay, since we're starting from 1, the increment value is going to be x plus plus. So it's going to like be incrementing x. That's what we're expecting to have here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an if condition here, which means I will check if when I divide the value of x by 2, does it give me any remainder? So I'm going to say x divided by 2. Okay, I'm not going to use division. I'm going to use modulo instead. I say x modulo 2. Now modulo is a kind of a division um, um, is an operator. That's the best word to use for it. It's an operator that when you use it on an operand, two operands, the remainder is what it gives back. So it gives back any remainder after any division. So if you say 2 divided by um, 2, and there is no remainder, so the modulo operator will actually give you back 0 as the value. But if you divide, let's say 3 divided by 2, there's a remainder of 1, so the modulo operator will give you back 1. So if you do something like 2 divided by 3, the remainder is actually 2, so because 3 can't divide 2 without any remainder, so it will give you back 2, which is the value you wanted to divide in the first place. Now, I'm going to just say x modulo 2. If x modulo 2 is actually 0, that means that stuff is what? Is an even number. So I could come here and create let's even number, I'll just say even number sum. This variable name is too long, but let's manage it. So I'll say even number sum. And I'm going to come here, I'll say this, I will set this to 0. If you want to, you can actually leave it at undefined, but I'll set it to 0, and I'll say plus equal to x. So every time, the only time it will add something to even number sum is if that stuff is an even number. So it's going to sum everything and then to give you back the result. So um, I'm going to check this out in my browser to see what I have. So if I check the value of even number sum, you can see that it has like the sum of all the even numbers from 0 to 100. That's it. Okay, John said, are we going to have any other lecture after this? Yeah, I plan to continue having lectures after this. It's kind of tasky to edit and upload because I'm kind of trying to cope up with other things that is going on. So I'm trying out this live, and I hope it works out perfectly well for you guys. You guys are going to give me back feedback on what you think, and then I can easily have a live section and I don't have to like edit the video so you guys can access it fast. Okay, um, I think that's it. John, nice question. Any other question here? I love your participation, John. I really do love that. Kudos to you. Chat me up on WhatsApp. I have a gift for you for really participating well. Okay, Austin has a question too. Austin, drop your question. Drop your question. Um, John, for being very active earlier, you have something for me. Just I don't want to um, open it up, but just chat me up. You have my WhatsApp contact, so chat me up. So Austin, um, okay, let me drop this. Okay, okay. Austin, I am waiting for your question. Since there's not a question, okay. Can you also say if x modulo this is equal to 0 on if statement? Can you also say if x modulo this is equal to 0 on the if statement? I think that's basically what I did. Did I do anything? This modulo will give you back the remainder. So it's always going to be the remainder that you're comparing it with 0. You know, when you look at this, unless I'm getting this question wrong. Austin, am I getting this question wrong? Okay, John says they need a question to okay, since you need a task, you need a project to work on. I'm going to give you a project right now to work on. Let's say the assignment I'm going to give you is find yeah find write a program that sums up all the prime numbers between um, 0 to 100. So it's something similar to this, but you're going to find like an algorithm. Should I call it algorithm? Probably you're going to find like an if conditions that could filter for you only prime numbers. They say the prime number is like a number that is divided by only one itself. So you have to be able to like say dictate what is a prime number as the loop iterate. So if you get a number, you have to be able to like find out if that stuff is a prime number. An idea, this might lead you to have like a nested loop. So you could actually have a nested loop. Is an idea, but you gotta do the research. So because when you're trying to, if you get a number, you have to like check for all the numbers before it to know if they can divide that particular number. This is one way of solving this particular problem now. So let's say if you check for if you're in number 10 to know if number 10 is a prime number, you have to divide number 10 with all the numbers before it. If there's anyone that could possibly divide it, then that's not a prime number. So you might have like and this probably might not be the best way to write it, but is one way. Then you might have like another nested loop that checks for every number you're iterating on. So go and do some research on nested ifs. When are you submitting? I think um, today is today is Monday. I'm going to also try and make out time. I don't really know the perfect time to be live now, so going to see how my timing goes. But before Saturday is cool for me. Before Saturday, you should submit it to. You guys already know like the URL, sorry, the email that we submit to. So before Saturday, you should submit it to them. Okay, so I think that's it for now. Any other question? Okay. Fabian, I'm actually going to answer this now. So you're asking, he said, can we use divided by something like this instead? Okay, if 2 divides any value, if 2 divides 10, for instance, he's going to give you back the value of the division. That's the answer. So if you say 2 divided by this, it's going to give you like 5. So you can actually know if that is an even number or if it is not an even number. But what you could do is you could check, is it giving me a whole number? You could check if it's giving you a whole number. If it's not giving you a whole number, then it's probably not even. But instead of going that way, you could just check for the remainder and using the modulo instead of checking for if it's giving you if it's giving you a whole number or not. Okay, okay. Any other question? No other question. Okay, so think um, I could say I could call this a day. Any other question? Okay, so no. John says no. Any other question from Austin? From Victor? John, thank you too. Thank you for being active. I really do appreciate it. I think this is the first serious live we're hosting, and we have like 9 views already. That's cool. It's something that, and we have like 3 people viewing. It's progress. So guys, I really appreciate that you guys came through. We're going to make our plan to see how we can have more live classes because a lot of people have a lot of things going on for them, and having to write and edit can take quite some time. So I think live classes is going to be a lot easier for myself and for every other person. So have a great day and a wonderful day, guys. Enjoy, and I'll end the stream now.